Hey, welcome to another episode of The Rob Report. I'm your host, Robert Bob TV Brown. Before we get into this segment, by the end of this video, I want you to do a few things for me. First of all, if you like the video, hit the like button. Please do. If you don't like it, hit unlike. It's okay. Make sure you are subscribed to this channel. Sometimes, as Jimmy Dole would say, you find yourself unsubscribed and you need to make sure that you subscribe to this channel. Hit the notification bell right next to it so you can be notified when a new video is being dropped. Whoop, there it is. And more importantly, the super chat will be on for this segment, so if you want to donate toward the efforts of Bob TV, that's freely up to you. Any amount will help toward the growth of this channel. My name is Robert Brown with The Rob Report. Let's get into it. Well, good day, good day. Welcome to another episode of The Rob Report. I am your host, Bob TV, Robert Brown. How you doing today? I live in New York City, and New York City used to be the tough on crime zone juggernaut that it was. New York was known for crime out the wazoo. New York has become better at that by lowering the rate of crime. It's not like it used to be. I'm a Florida boy. I come up here and people used to tell me, Rob, the crime bill was needed because you had to live here to understand what was going on. But yet I come back and say, yeah, but they kind of overreached no matter where they were. And to this very day, police officers are still overreaching, and they are doing it without impunity. There's no real hardcore laws on police overreach, police abuse, none of that. And it has to change, and we usually think the way to change that is through electoral politics. And we've tried that. Matter of fact, electoral politics and politicians are the one that exacerbated the situation and made it worse. Matter of fact, they imploded it. They passed laws to allow it to happen even more. The guy who will be your president in the next year, for the next 4 years, wrote policies to beef up the military, to beef up the police force, to militarize the police force, to give them all kind of reasons to stamp out drug abuse, stamp out drug dealers. And the purpose was right, but and a lot of people bought into that. But there was more to that. That was just a gateway in to come into the community and do what they do in the community: bullying, over-policing, police abuse, being tyrants. These laws did that. Sure, the motive, the reason, the purpose for us needing to beef up the police, we're supposed to fight against crime. But the overall mission of police officers is to serve and protect. And if you don't see no reasons, if you don't see reasons to not do that, then you don't do it. Your overall purpose is to serve and protect. I'm thinking about how black men and black women and black kids are being shot and killed for some of the dumbest things. A Skittle. Drinking tea, a bag of smokes, tobacco, sleeping in your bed butt naked with your love of your life, still killed, in the house watching TV with your kids, shot and killed, having a screwdriver fixing your mom's doorbell and the cops pull up on you and you just happen to turn around to talk to the cops and you're holding the screwdriver. They shoot you and kill you. This next story is about a young gentleman by the name of Casey Goodson Jr. killed. Allegedly had a gun, waving at the police. What fool waved the gun at the police? Couldn't find out. His family said it wasn't a gun, it was a freaking Subway sandwich. Cops killing black people over claiming they saw a gun. when it really was a sandwich. Give me a moment, guys. I want you to see something that is so important. I'm going to cue it up. Here we go.
He said he's not going to shut off the car, so.
Okay. That's all right. Just keep an eye on it. Just get the right fit. Just start. Put your hands on the steering wheel. No. What are you reaching for?
Oh, whoa. Hey, get out of the car, man. You got a gun right there.
Whoa!
Get out of the car.
There's rights to this.
Get out.
There are rights to this.
Do you have a concealed
There are
carry?
rights to this. Whoa!
Get out.
Hold up right there.
It's open. My hands are up. My hands are up.
No, you gotta.
This is on body cam. You have a body cam, sir?
Put
Do you
your
have a body
hands
cam?
over your eyes.
Do you have a body cam?
Put your hand over your
Do you
eyes.
have a body cam, sir?
Put your hands over
Do you
your
have a
eyes.
body cam, sir? Yeah, you're gonna.
I will send this dog on you.
I will shoot you if you do.
Don't
Don't.
fucking grab that gun.
You have rights.
Put your hand.
Hey, you have rights too. You have rights too.
Don't you
You
dare.
have rights. You have rights. You
Right.
cannot
Don't you
shoot me
dare.
here.
You
This is
need to be-
unconstitutional. You know that.
Right, you have
Whoa.
a weapon,
Hey.
okay?
Yes, I
Don't.
do. It is.
Don't.
What I need you to do.
Hey, you guys
listen.
are grabbing me on this is also unconstitutional. Body cam request.
Can you quit yelling so I can talk to you?
You have a gun
You need more
for me,
units
sir.
right now.
I need you to relax for me,
I
okay?
will shoot you if this possible. That's a threat and so open there. You have no body cam. You know this.
He has a
My
body
hands are open.
camera.
My hands are open.
Okay.
My hands are open.
You need to get out of the
No,
car
I
so
do
we
not.
can remove you
I
from
do
that
not.
weapon.
You cannot. No, it is constitutionally owned. I see that.
Do you have a concealed carry permit?
It is not concealed. Yes, you can see the weapon. It's right there.
Don't
Body
do
cam.
it.
Body.
Okay.
What are you afraid of?
Don't do it.
I'm not doing anything.
Do me a favor. Just please step out of the car. That's all we're asking you to
Oh,
do.
you're asking me not to use that gun?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Conceal your weapons, please.
No.
This is how we
Get out
treat
of
each
the
other
car.
civilly.
Please.
This is not how we act civilly. You know
Sir.
this. Right eye! Right eye!
You got cover?
No. Just
Yes, we do.
don't. Just
Do
please.
you have body count?
Please.
Do you have body count? Do not forcibly remove
Do
me
not.
from-
Don't.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Do it.
You know
Don't.
that. You know that. That's not
Please.
I need you to get out of the car.
Ouse. Ben, ouse.
Hey, SC double blue, sir. Are you gonna shoot me on double blue?
Just relax.
No,
Please
just relax.
just please get out of the car.
There's rights to this. You know there are rights to
Listen,
this.
we can figure this out.
We can talk about this,
Oh,
okay?
this is how
But
you
right
feel
now,
about this.
we can't
Listen.
talk about it with you not listening to us.
Just,
Well, not listen. You
Okay.
are first of the ground.
all I'm asking you to
You're
do,
violating my rights right now. Let go of me.
You just put your hand on a gun,
sir,
Whoa, no, you pulled a gun on me unconstitutionally.
please.
And I did my in response.
Get,
Oh,
we don't want
Please.
to do this, man.
Just
okay?
get out of the car. I'm just asking. We'll get this figured out. Just come out and just get out of the
you
car.
release me now.
We can't do that.
Release it. I have Second Amendment rights, David.
Okay. Just get out of the car. Come on, come back here. We'll
Excuse
talk
me?
about it.
Excuse me. This right here is a reason to
We'll get
defend
this-
myself, cast a doctrine. You know that.
We'll get this figured out. Don't do it. Please. Just come on.
Get out of the car, sir.
Just get out of the car. Just step out.
The gun's down.
No, just step
Get
out.
out of the car.
Just step out of the car. Just don't do it.
That's right.
Get out of the car.
You're on double blue. You know what's gonna happen, right?
Just stop.
You need to get out of the car. That's
No,
a
I
lawful
don't.
order. You're going to go to
What
jail.
a gunpoint. Oh, take me to jail then. Go ahead.
Just
Right
come
now
on.
you're obstructing.
I can't.
No, you're obstructing. You're pointing a gun at me, sir. Right now, my life's in threat.
Okay. Well, we have
I don't even
more-
see body cam on this, sir. I'm just gonna drive away.
We-
I'm not gonna bother anybody.
No, you're
Hands
not.
on the seat.
Don't do this.
No.
Don't do it. Don't.
Now, I want to big up the person who made that video and put it out there for people to see. It is important for you to know your rights as American citizens. The problem is people don't have access to their rights. They don't know where to look for. Now, I'm not here to pitch a service, but I've been a representative of Legal Shield, and I've been, I haven't been pushing it like I should, but I've been a member for over 20 years now. And now I see the purpose of the service. See, whenever I have a legal situation to keep it from a legal crisis, I'm able to call my attorney in situations like that. A lot of times I already have my attorney on the phone before the cops come here. I'm not stopping my car until I have my phone on. Most states you can put your blinker on and go to a place that's safe for you before you have to stop. You don't have to stop if you put on your blinkers to learn them that you don't feel comfortable stopping here. I want to continue to drive moderately to a place where I feel comfortable. At that time, I'm waiting for my attorney to get on the phone. When I get to my safe point, it's not me addressing the officers thanks to speakerphone. and even in some cases, video phone. Now you're addressing my attorneys, not me. I have a right to remain silent. I don't have to talk to you at all. Now, in this situation, this man has a right. You have a Second Amendment right, and the cops to badger you over you having a gun is illegal themselves. See, what people tend to think, that cops don't break the law, and they break the law all the time. They try to twist it into their favor. Now, you heard codes like Double Blue pretty much saying that, look, it's to you all. I mean, I'm not a threat. Put your guns down. What I'm going to do. You heard things about, where he talked about body cams, because he said he wanted to request a body cam. He's putting all this on video so that if something happens, he can go back. Now, they pursued him, they arrested him, and they charged him, but doesn't mean that they're valid charges. Now, in my next video, we're going to revisit this particular point. But the point I'm making here is number one, they threatened to put the dogs on it. He said he will shoot their dog. Now, a black man say that, all hell will break loose. They'll probably shoot him for saying that. But he is right. If you are sicking your dog on me and I didn't break no laws and I have a right to defend myself and I'm operating in the Second Amendment, I have a right to shoot your dog. And if you pose a threat to me, I don't care if you are an officer in blue. If you pose a threat to me, I have a right to defend myself. He kept saying, I'm not going to touch my gun, and I don't feel comfortable getting out the car until you put your guns down. They still wouldn't put the gun down. He mentioned his constitutional right. And he also mentioned, well, if you're not charging me, I should be free to go. And that is the law. If you are not suspecting me of a crime, I should be free to go. And you should be able to say to the officer, am I free to go? And if he continued to hold you without suspecting you of a crime, he is violating the law. Now, it's sad in these days and times where you're fearing the police. And a lot of black people, they run from the police because they know that a lot of police are tyrants and race soldiers. They want to use the badge as a tool to use their aggression out on a particular race, or maybe just having a bad day and I'm going to take it out on somebody. They do that. Skittles, pack of Newports, screwdriver, and in this case, a Subway sandwich. Let's go into the story. I'm going to go into the story of a young gentleman. Another black man foolishly killed for no freaking reason. Foolishly killed for no freaking reason. And bear with me because this really, really touched my heart. Because I got nieces and nephews. And I don't want them to go through. I don't want them. Now, I fear myself because sometimes, I'm often, I don't have a time limit. I come home whenever I want. I'm a grown freaking man. And I don't have any time limits. But yet, I do wonder what the police department going to do when they see me. I mean, you could be dressed up in a suit and they still will harass you. You can have a briefcase and they still will stop you. Don't walk around and wear a freaking hood. Let me read you this story. This is from NPR. Police in Ohio says slain black man brandished a gun. Family said he held a sandwich. This is a few days ago. Now, the reason I didn't jump on it, because everybody else was jumping on it. You know, you tend to think that the media don't want to tell the stories of innocent men and women getting killed for some of the dumbest reasons. But sooner or later, they'll pick up if there's a political purpose for it. If it fits their agenda, they'll pick it up. But if it doesn't fit their agenda, they're not going to pick it up. So a lot of people got killed for some of the dumbest reasons. But let's get into this one. Authorities in Ohio have identified longtime Franklin County Sheriff Department as the law enforcement officer who shot and killed a black man in Columbus last Friday. Law enforcement said the man was waving a gun. His family said he was carrying a freaking sandwich. See, the police department is always going to try to cover up for themselves. And people will always jump to conclusions and try to cover up for the police. And sometimes we can jump to conclusions and try to cover up for our race or for our community. And sometimes it's not justifiable. But this is just uncalled for. You can't sit there and say that somebody had a gun and it really was a sandwich, but they've done that before. Trayvon Martin with a bag of Skittles and some tea. He got killed because the guy thought he was a threat. Actually, Trayvon whooped his behind and he felt embarrassed. But let me keep going. The sheriff officer said the deputy who fired the shot, Jason Meade, a 17-year veteran of the force, was assigned full-time to a U.S. Marshal Service Fugitive Task Force at the time of the incident. So, if you're giving temporary status as a U.S. Marshal and they give you a description, you just feel you got a right to shoot and kill people? No. The task force has wrapped up an unsuccessful search for violent suspects, according to the police investigators when the shooting took place. Violent suspects. They were searching for violent suspects. Are you searching for violent suspects, or are you looking to hunt down and kill violent suspects? Because there's a big difference between the two. The man killed 23-year-old Casey Goodson was not an object of the search. So you're not even involved. You were assigned full-time to the U.S. Marshal Fugitive Task Force at the time of the incident, but you were not even involved in this violent suspect search, according to this. Nor was he wanted by law enforcement officers. So this young brother was not even in the search. This 23-year-old black man was not even involved in the pictures, because you know they got pictures, or the name or the database of the people that they were searching for, the violent suspects. He was not an object of the search, nor was he wanted by law enforcement prior to the incident, according to police. So the police did not even have a search warrant out for this brother. I'll let that marinate. Did not have a search warrant. He wasn't even part of the search. He was a random innocent person on his way home, possibly to eat a sandwich. Family members say Goodson was shot 3 times in the back. Not only are you a coward, you can't even face the man up front to find out if he's on the list and let him go. You shoot him in the back. First, you claim he was waving a gun. How and where and when? So if he's waving a gun, how did you shoot him in the back? An autopsy will be conducted by Franklin County coroner, according to the investigators. Columbus police are leading investigations. Why are you going to allow the police to lead the investigation? You need to have a separate entity to lead this investigation, not the police department or the sheriff department. Because they're going to try to find some way to spin it like it was this person's fault that he had a sandwich in his hand about to go eat it. Columbus police are leading an investigation of the incident which occurred within its jurisdiction but did not involve police. As of Sunday afternoon, roughly 48 hours after the shooting, Meade has still not been interviewed by the investigators. So nobody even tried to talk to this guy. You know, killed this black brother, shot him in the back. He was not even part of the violent suspect list. He doesn't even have a warrant out for his arrest, but you're going to shoot him in the back. That's why I say cowards. Cowards, weakling, punks. I'm not talking about cops in general. I mean, you have your own opinion of the police department. I can't say that. I was married to one. Now, she was a coward, but, I can't say that. I work with a lot of police officers that really care for their community, so I can't call them all race soldiers, and I can't call them all tyrants. But there are some race soldiers and tyrants in the police department. At this time, Deputy Meade is not on duty and is awaiting an interview by the Columbus Division of Police Critical Incident and Response Team, which is investigating the incident, the Franklin County Sheriff Officer said in a statement. Now, first of all, this guy needs to be suspended. This is where the laws need to change. This is where the laws need to change. Anytime somebody dies in an incident that you had something to do with and it looked fishy, number one, there should be an investigation. Number two, you need to be fired, not suspended. Not suspended with pay, not suspended without pay. You need to be fired. And upon the investigation, if it's proven that you're innocent, you can come back. You should not be getting anything, any benefits, no nothing. Now, the police union will probably beg to differ, but no. No, you can always, see, I work with unions. You can fire somebody and bring them back with full privileges if they're found innocent. But until that happens, you're fired. And I go as far as say you're jailed. Because this is an intent to shoot somebody who was not firing at you, number one. Whether you got a gun or not, he was not firing at you. He did not pose a threat, especially with a freaking sandwich. What are you going to do, stab you to death with a sandwich? He going to feed you to death? You going to eat this sandwich. You going to eat this foot long. Peter Tobin, U.S. Marshal of the Southern District of Ohio, said that Goodson was brandishing a weapon and then things took a turn for the worse. He was brandishing a weapon. Do you have the weapon? Do you have the weapon? If he was brandishing a weapon, do you have it? And even if he did have a weapon, you have a Second Amendment right. If you did have a weapon, was he coming after you with that weapon? Let me go back to that video again, because I think this video took place in Ohio. And I think the video, I'm talking about the video of the white guy going after the cops, standing on his rights, and even threatening them if they violated his rights. Nobody got killed in that situation. And those cops was on their toes because they don't want to seem like they were violating this man's right. But you can go and shoot somebody in the back for having a sandwich is not violating a man's right. You claim he had a gun, but even if he did have a gun, maybe he had maybe he had the right to carry a gun. Just because a black man have a gun do not mean that he's going to use it on you no more than a white man having a gun mean he's going to use it on you. Now, this is Peter Tobin, the U.S. Marshal. He said he was seen driving down the street waving a gun. Okay, let's say that is true. Driving down the street waving a gun does not mean he's driving down the streets threatening to kill you. Who drives down the street waving a gun? He probably was driving down the street trying to eat a sandwich. That seemed more likely the issue. I'm hungry. I can't wait to get home. I'm going to open up this sandwich. I'm going to take me a bite while I'm driving. I'm driving with my right hand and I'm eating with my left hand. And you coward monkey fools gonna sit there and assume that that man got a gun. Now, I'm not talking about all police in general. I'm talking about this one. Peter Tobin. He was seen driving down the street waving a gun. That's when the deputy, at some point after that, he confronted him and it went badly. So how did you confront him? Did you stop him? Did you see a weapon? And, I mean, do you have the weapon in custody? I mean, come on now. You can't just tell us stuff without proving it. The station adds that the authority provides few detail about the encounter or what triggered Meade use of deadly force. The station adds the authority provided few details about the encounter. You know why? Because there was probably no freaking encounter. And I guarantee you probably in the next few days they're going to come up with some details out the crack of their behind. Few details about the encounter or what triggered Meade use of deadly force. The sheriff's office said deputies do not wear body cams. Why? Why do deputies do not wear body cams? Now look. Now when the white guy in the truck was confronting the police officers that pulled the gun that I just showed you, all he talked about was body cams. He even requested the video from the body cam right then and there on the spot. But you're going to tell me your deputies don't wear body cams? The sheriff's office said deputies do not wear body cams. Why do they not wear body cams? They're still law enforcement officers. What exempt deputies from wearing a body cam? What's the difference between a deputy and a full-fledged cop, police officer, Ohio Police Department, OPD? Investigators say no other law enforcement officers witnessed the shooting. Of course! Of course, that's that blue code. Nobody knew anything. I don't know nothing. I did not witness the shooting. I probably heard it, but I didn't see it. Honestly speaking, I've done workshops with cops on identity thefts here in NYPD, and NYPD have community police units that does very well in the community. NYPD has their bad part, but they have their good things too. And I would be lying to say the whole thing is bad, but there is some bad. So Ohio police, they sound like they're on that BS. They're on that bull. You didn't hear any shots. You didn't see any shots. He wasn't on the list of violent people that you're looking for. We dealt with him because we saw him coming down the street waving a gun. Well, what kind of gun was it? Did you stop him? Did you get the gun, and did you do you have the gun as evidence? A, B, C, D, and E. Now that man 9 times out of 10 was going home. He had a sandwich. You freaking fools are so paranoid that you probably thought it was a gun. How in the world are you gonna think a sandwich is a gun? Waving a gun. What fool waves a gun? So you trying to tell me this young man a fool? This man was getting ready to start his own business. He was getting his commercial license. He was going to get a truck, and he was going to start his own company, from what I know. This man had visions, dreams, and goal, and you just ripped it away from him. This young 23-year-old man. Now, they said the gun was recovered from Mr. Goodson, according to the statement from the Columbus police. A tweet by the Franklin County Sheriff Officer said the suspect weapon was recovered at the scene. Yeah, right. So they say a gun was recovered, but people are automatically going to believe that. Of course you're going to say a gun is recovered, because you can't justify your story unless you can justify a weapon. My question is, what kind of gun was it? Was it a BLT gun? Meatball marinara gun? Oh, I know. If it's a Chipotle Southwest wrap. Reporter Paige Flegger, a member of station WOSU, reported Monday that Goodson's concealed carry license was current. So let's see if he did have a gun. Like I said, he has a right to carry a gun. Concealed and carry license was current. Well, he's waving it around. It ain't concealed. What fool ride around with waving a gun? Well, we got some fools out there. Come on, son. Come on, son. This man had a concealed and carry license. It was up to date. He have a right to have a gun. He have a right to have a gun. Activists and family members dispute the detail of law enforcement officer's version of the story and point to it as another example of police resorting to unjustified deadly force against black Americans. They are lying, said Kaylee Hopper, who identified herself as Goodson's sister, wrote in a Facebook post. My brother literally walked across the yard, walked into the back fence to get to the side door, had his Subway sandwich and mask in one hand, keys in the other, unlocked and opened the door, and stepped in the house before he was shot. So they made it seem like it was random on the scene. Here this man. Here this young man. Who tell it better? The cops or the family? The family said, the man, they're lying. There's no gun. My brother literally walked across the yard, walked into the back fence to get to the side door of the house, had his Subway sandwich and his mask in his hand, keys and Subway mask in one hand, keys in the other, unlocked, opened the door, and stepped in the house before he was shot. So eyewitness said that he was shot trying to come into the house. Folks, you got to understand, they'll make up any excuses to cover their butts. Breonna Teller, nice night with her boyfriend, somebody come down and they just no not warrant, killed her. There's so many stories over and over and over again. Man, going to Walmart, getting ready to buy a gun. Paranoid Coliseum with the gun, they shoot him. Little kid playing with a fake gun in the playground, shoot him. In a statement, Walter and Brown, the law firm representing Goodson's family, said the shooting was witnessed by Goodson's 72-year-old grandmother and 2 toddlers. You see what we have to go through? We get killed in front of our family members, our loved ones, our kids, people who probably look up to us in the neighborhood, they shoot us down. The firm says Goodson was returning home from a dentist appointment. I'll tell you what, when I come from getting my teeth cleaned, boy, I'm going to take my gun and wave it around, letting everybody know what's up. Who does that? That brother probably didn't get a chance to eat nothing all yesterday, all day, because he wanted to go get his teeth cleaned, and now he got his teeth cleaned. That brother want to get something to eat. Goes to Subway, get a sandwich, and he out food time out. Everything about him was abiding by the law. And in terms of having a gun, he was licensed to do so. Nana Watson, president of Columbus chapter of the NAACP, said. Justice for Casey. Justice for Casey. Shot 3 times in the back, going in his home with a Subway sandwich in front of his family. Heather Johnson, a friend of Goodson's family who spoke with the Columbus Dispatch, said he had no criminal history and described him as a family man. A good guy. Casey was 23 years old. He never had any type of crimes. He was good. He worked at the Gap. Excuse me. He loved his family. Johnson told the paper he just enjoyed being a big brother and enjoyed being with his family. He loved them very much. The shooting comes as the U.S. is still grappling with long-simmering issues stemming from social injustice, systemic racism, and aggressive police tactics used against communities of color. Those matters touch off months of nationwide protests following Floyd's Memorial Day killing in Minneapolis police, killing by the Minneapolis police. It also comes just a week before the transition of power of the White House. President-elect Joe Biden made criminal justice reform a central pillar of his campaign. Now, in this, I fear, as usual, people are going to take something like this and make it a political issue when it's really a justice issue. See, this is why I tell Barack Obama need to shut his mouth up, because political slogans and justice slogans are not the same. You're going to try to tell people to not use reform the police or defund the police. Use reform the police. No, defund them. Defund them. There's many ways to defund them. You shoot somebody, you're not getting a check until the investigation is over and you're proven innocent. And believe me, there's going to be a real deal independent investigation. Your police department ain't going to do it. And if you do the crime, you're going to do the time. And if you killed this person unjustly, your butt going to jail in general population like everybody else. You're not going to be separated. Nobody's asking these politicians to do what activists in the grassroots do. Nobody asking politicians to say what we want to say. But if you got the guts enough to do it, do it. Screw. See, that's the thing I like about Obama. He's too careful, and he want to try to tell people how to win offices. And he wouldn't even go out there and campaign with people to win office in 2010. He left them hanging. I was just watching the Breakfast Club interview, and I'm going to do a video on that soon. Man, his brother is condescending, cocky, and arrogant, telling people, trying to come up with excuses, talking about what he did for the black community. When he did nothing. You had the Justice Department ran by 2 black people, and now we're still dealing with this mess. And this ain't got nothing to do with Trump. They was doing this before Trump. Killing black people for stupid reasons before Trump. Trayvon Martin was before Trump. You said Trayvon Martin, if he would have looked like my son. What is the difference between look like and actuality? Because in actuality, your son wouldn't go through what most black kids go through. Heck, you didn't go through what most black kids go through because you were sheltered by your white mother. You very rarely went to visit your black dad who lived in Africa. And you were sheltered in by your white grandparents. You were not sheltered in by your black grandparents in Kenya. You pretty much grew up as a white kid with dark skin color, but you were sheltered. Your white grandmother and mother was not going to let nobody put you in the position of what a Casey may go through. Your time in New York when you were going to Columbia University, you rarely went to Harlem, so you didn't, you hung out with your white friends, smoking weed, having a good time, and that's okay. Folks, they said it in this article. The last thing in this article from NPR was about Joe Biden. And Biden made criminal justice reform a central pillar of his campaign. How you, the creator of the current brutal justice system, all of a sudden want to reform. This is the problem I got with these politicians. They create a problem, and then they come try to solve the problem to make themselves look like a hero. Joe Biden was involved in the drug campaign. Then he came with the so-called solution to the drug campaign, which did more harm than good. Now he's claiming he's going to bring a solution to the criminal justice reform issue. 9 times 10 is going to do more harm than good, because that's what Joe Biden does. Create a problem and create a solution, and both of them are a double whammy on the people who it is targeted to. Now, recently, Mr. Goodson family went on TV. They're talking about, let me go back to this video because I want to show you this video, man, because I think this was done in Ohio. You see that? Ohio. The same state this brother live in. That young man had to carry and conceal papers. It was out. It was out where the police can see it. They didn't touch him. Yeah, he got charged, but I mean, police can charge you with anything. Don't mean he'll stick. That's why I'm gonna follow up with this. They wasn't even interested in charging this dude. They killed him. Shot him in the back as they were entering his home. Claimed they found a weapon. What weapon? But I guarantee you they'll try to come up with something out of the crack of their head. They probably crack of their behind. They probably go into some evidence rule and pull out a gun and say that was his. Can't now. He's dead. And what you gonna do? Get his fingerprints from the morgue? A good kid, a family man. Community loved him. Shot in front of his grandmother. Shot in front of 2 kids. Shot in front of his family. Give me a moment. I'm going to try to find a video talking about this. It was a C&E. Killed the Ohio deputy was seeking a fugitive. Then they killed an unrelated black man outside his grandmother's house. That's according to the Washington Post. BET said Ohio community holds vigil after deputy kills black man. Columbus police are investigating Friday shooting by Franklin Sheriff Department. Yahoo News say family demands answers after Ohio deputy fatally shoots black man. Give me a moment, guys. This is a tough one. This is sad. This is sad. Listen to this.
My grandson just got shot. Relatives say 23-year-old Casey Goodson was holding Subway sandwiches, not a gun, when he was fatally shot by a sheriff's deputy Friday in Columbus, Ohio. Over the weekend, mounting anger.
And he deserves better. His family deserves better, and they deserve justice.
Authorities say SWAT team members had just finished an unsuccessful search for a suspect when Goodson drove by waving a gun. An authority for Goodson's family disputes that.
The family believes that was totally outside of his character.
Although Goodson was not the suspect the SWAT team was looking for, the deputy Jason Meade, a 17-year veteran, later confronted Goodson outside his home. Police say there was a verbal exchange and that the deputy shot and killed Goodson.
Prediction is that it was a justified shooting. However, this deputy will be investigated.
Police say a gun was recovered at the scene, but haven't said exactly where. Goodson's family says he had a concealed carry permit and are demanding answers. They say he was shot in front of his grandmother and young siblings after coming home from the dentist.
The family believes that Casey was an innocent man gunned down as he entered his own home.
Late today, the Columbus Police Department turned over the investigation to state officials. No comment yet from the deputies' union. He wasn't wearing a body camera, wasn't required to. An autopsy is expected this week.
Guys, this is why it is important that we begin to not wait on politicians to come up with laws. Not vote them in thinking they're going to have your best interests. It doesn't matter who gets voted in, whether it's Republican or Democrat. It's up to us to put the weight on them to change the laws. It's up to us to deny them a position of power. It's up to us. We can't let these people continue to go around and claim they got our best interests at heart and never do. There have to be some laws passed. A lot of things you can get done without electoral politics. Of course, electoral politics is going to be the ultimate thing that makes the law, but it's not about voting people in. It's about putting pressure on no matter who's in there to change these laws, or they'll be out of a job. And how do you do that? You can put these people in a position where they're going to be pressured. You can boycott. You can do sit-ins. You can do protests. You can protest outside their house. Don't go in their yard, but stay outside the house. You can make it hard for them to sleep. You can do whatever. I mean, you can ring their phones off the hook. You can go to the office. There's so many ways you can apply the pressure for these people to come up off their butt and change these laws. But what the news media want to tell you, and what most people tell you, well, this is why you got to elect this politician. This ain't got nothing to do with it. We've been electing politicians, and none of this stuff changed. They still killing black people on the streets, innocent black people on the street. But a white person can go around in their car in the face with two cops drawing a gun on him and state his rights, and he can drive off, threaten to kill them, kill their dog, threaten to kill them if he feel like he's threatened. Yell double blue, yell body cams. And why they don't have body cams in the sheriff department? Why the deputies are allowed to go around dealing with people, asking questions, investigating, probably confronting people, searching and see, and all that kind of stuff. How are they allowed to go? And the cops are allowed to have a body camera, and they're not. It's probably a scapegoat. Killed in front of his family. Killed in front of his friends. Killed in front of his siblings. Coming from the dentist. Minding his own business. Cops claim he's waving a gun. Okay, he's waving a gun in his car. Was he waving it at somebody? It doesn't matter. He has papers to carry a gun. Whatever excuse you have is no excuse. There was no reason for you to kill this guy. If he had a gun, he had the papers to get the gun. Where was the threat? The family said the man had a sandwich and you killed him Anyway, sandwich in one hand, mask in the other, and the keys, opening the door after coming from a dentist. And I kind of believe that because I know whenever I go to the dentist, I usually don't eat nothing prior to the dentist because I don't want food in my mouth, even though they're going to wash my mouth before they start working on it, cleaning everything. I usually wait till after I see the dentist to go get some food. I'm hungry. You dumb fools, you mistake the freaking sandwich for a gun, and you feel so dumb about it that you don't have no way of covering up. I'm telling you, you ain't gonna cover this one up. You ain't covering this up. That guy need to be arrested. He need to be locked up. He need to be stripped of his police duties. There need to be a full investigation, and I say not even by the state. There need to be an independent person that's not to look into this. The family need to have somebody investigate. They need to hire a private detective because what they're going to do is going to try to smear this guy. It's like they try to do everybody else that they kill for no freaking reason at all. We got too many cowards in the police department. Too many weaklings. Too many paranoid. I don't know what's going on. Are you guys giving these guys evaluation tests? I mean, look, I wanted to get a job with 911 with New York Police Department. One of the first things they're going to do is they're going to do an evaluation test. They're going to check you mentally. Why are you guys doing that when it comes to these people becoming police officers? Or, yeah, we checked them and they crazy. That's why we want them. Is that the requirement to become a police officer? It's not, because we have a lot of good, sane police officers. And I know some of you guys don't like me to say this, but I've known a few and I've worked with a few. Some of them genuinely took the job to kind of help their community. Now, they are pressured to go over and above, and they have to fight that pressure every day, like the NYPD 10, 12, whatever it's called. They pressure these cops to perform. Who knows? This guy probably was pressured to perform, and this is the result of his performance. Another innocent, dead black man who had a hope in the future, killed, not just on the street, in front of his family. It's time to go back and hit the streets again. See, Floyd, the protests against Floyd was during the height of the pandemic. We didn't care. We got out of the streets. Why? Why did we stop? You don't stop until you get what you want. You don't stop until there's some new laws that penalize police officers for somebody dying in custody, in their custody, by their hands. And I just told you the penalty. They should be stripped of their badge. They should be arrested. No suspended. They should be arrested. And they should go to court, just like any other person. And if they found innocent, you can restore them back on the job. Give them their badge, even give them back pay. But if they're found guilty, they need to be judged and charged to the fullest extent of the law, punished to the fullest extent of the law, just like anybody else. This is a shame. And right now, there's nothing to stop this but you and I. By going out there and again, turning the heat up and protest. I'm Rob Brown with the Rob Report. I'll holler at you later. Peace.